Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a English Listening, soy Javi. Hoy os presento un vídeo en el que Mike nos va a hablar sobre el Día de Acción de Gracias. Mike, cuando quieras.
Hi, welcome back to English Listening. As usual, I'm Mike. Now today we're going to talk about the holiday of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving happens to be one of the three big holidays in the United States. There's New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. Now, of course, there's other holidays like Halloween. Some people would argue that those are big too, but the biggest are those three. And Thanksgiving is a holiday that's actually celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November in the U.S. There's a different Thanksgiving in Canada than there is in the United States, by the way. I'm not exactly sure when that is, but this is specific. I'm going to talk specifically about the how we celebrate Thanksgiving in the United States and the origin of that. So, Thanksgiving actually is a celebration of a feast that was between, I think, 53 pilgrims and 90 Native Americans in 1620s. I think it was 1621. And this was a time of two communities coming together and peacefully coexisting. And it didn't actually become an actual holiday in the United States until about 1863. The President of the United States at the time, who was the famous Abraham Lincoln, he made this into a federal and a public holiday. And this is during our Civil War period. And so you can imagine there would be good reason to have a holiday that would be about peacefulness and togetherness. Though I think maybe at the time it might have been more about celebrating, being thankful to God. But I'm sure, being that we're in the middle of a civil war and it was all about the North and the South part of the United States all fracturing and going in different directions, this might be a good way to reinforce togetherness and family and everything. So Thanksgiving, as I said, family is what I mentioned. Thanksgiving is a family holiday. That's what it's become. And it's the first time in the year that that siblings and parents and extended family members and even friends sometimes, we come together and we have a dinner. It's kind of analogous to that feast that happened in the 1620s. And it's typical for us to have turkey, large turkeys, and stuffing and cranberries and lots of different types of foods like corns. Now, in my family, we actually don't always go the turkey route. In fact, we've actually started to eat lasagna on Thanksgiving, and it's mainly because we really have come to I think that we don't like the fact that whenever you eat turkey, it kind of knocks you out, all that tryptophan in the turkey, it kind of puts you to sleep. And so we switched to something else, and just in our family, the tradition actually is to eat lasagna on Thanksgiving. So that's not typical. It's very typical to have stuffing and turkey on Thanksgiving in most families in the United States. So the thing that is, I have a morbid curiosity when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And that is that, let's face it, a lot of people tend to die after these holidays. And I think it's mainly because, well, there's a couple reasons. People are drinking a lot. And so unfortunately there's a lot of, accidents because of this. And also people are eating a lot more food. They're gorging themselves on a lot more food than they usually eat. So people are having heart attacks. And it's a terrible thing, but I always go to look at the news and read the obituaries after Thanksgiving Day and after Christmas. Now, the day after Thanksgiving is actually a really, really big day. I think it's not just here in the United States, but we call it Black Friday. And Black Friday is the biggest shopping day of the year. And so after you gorge yourself on Thanksgiving, you get up early in the morning and you fight with people to buy different, goods and toys and things for your kids for Christmas. So that might also be the explanation of why people are dying. Is there's people who are eating tons of food, gorging themselves, fattening themselves up, and then the next day they go for and there's all this tension to get the most popular video game machine or most popular thing the next day, and they're fighting against all these other people in line. But that's pretty much it.
Gracias, Mike. Bien, pues vamos con las preguntas, a ver si habéis comprendido bien lo que nos ha contado Mike. ¿Cuándo se celebra el Día de Acción de Gracias en los Estados Unidos? Segunda, ¿qué suele comer la gente ese día? Y tercera, ¿y en la familia de Mike qué comen? ¿Cuándo se celebró por primera vez el Día de Acción de Gracias? Y por último, ¿cuál es la obsesión mórbida que nos cuenta Mike que tiene relacionada con el Día de Acción de Gracias? Muy bien, pues eso es todo. Las respuestas a estas preguntas están en la descripción del vídeo. Recordad que debajo existe el apartado de comentarios, que podéis hacernos llegar cualquier comentario sobre el vídeo, ideas para nuevos episodios, lo que os apetezca. Si os ha gustado el vídeo, por favor, marcad el dedo pulgar hacia arriba en el lugar correspondiente, que nos ayudará. Y suscribíos a nuestro canal si os apetece para recibir las novedades de las futuras semanas. Recordad que todos los vídeos y algún otro material los tenéis disponibles en mikeandjavi.com. Hasta pronto.